Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to day 2 of Sangamam 2024. We request everyone to take their seat as we prepare to begin today's sessions. And as always, a request to please put your phones on silent mode so that it doesn't disturb all our participants while they're listening to our wonderful speakers sharing their experience and knowledge from the field. So this has been an excellent platform for celebrating the legacy of handloom weaving, craftsmanship, and natural dyeing. I think yesterday we had what I can only call a plethora of information and knowledge being shared from some of the best experts in the field. It was truly eye-opening, and for someone like me who's not even in the field, if it was that inspiring, I'm sure every one of you took back a lot of wonderful things that will help you in your profession.
Good morning. So we would like to start the day with fabric, fiber, and dyes, the role of community and sustainability. That will be our first session. Yesterday, there was also a book launch that happened. There were 2 books that got launched. One was Lungi, wherein the content was given by weavers. And the other book was Nilam and Neelam, which spoke extensively about indigo extraction. So if you would like to have copies of these books, you can either get in touch with me, Jayanti, or with my colleague. So either of us will be available. You can pass on your contact and details and everything, and we'll take the order, and we will get in touch with you for that. Okay? So can we have Edric, our chairperson?
Mr. Edric Ong, we invite you to please come on stage and kickstart this session with a few words.
Thank you very much, and good morning. I think if I can see, some of us are still having a bit of a hangover from a full day yesterday and a full night last night. But anyway, it's good to see all of you here at Sangamam. Today, we are going to start off with talking about FFD, fiber, fashion, and dyes. Fiber, fabric, and dyes. And then we are talking about us, US. We're talking about people. We're talking about you who's sitting here, there who are on the mezzanine, and them who are in the villages and communities. Then we are going to tackle the issue of live or die, the sustainability of FFD, whether this will continue to go on and on and on, and what are the issues that are facing us as we discuss at this conference. So let me share with you who will be presenting in this session. There's Rashmi, who is from Avani. There's Jesus, who is from the Colors of Nature. There's Anuradha Singh, from the very well-known brand of Neela. And of course, my friend Prak Niyomka, or his nickname is Man. Some call him Man, but he is from the brand Mancraft in Sakonakon in Thailand. So let's give them all a big round of applause before we start. And before I invite Rashmi to be our first presenter to talk about her experiences on the issue.
Just to begin, I'll talk a little bit about the role we all can play in what Edric just mentioned. The future that we all see, so many things are happening, climate change, sustainable development goals, but it looks like a very long path, but begins with very small actions. So I'll try to just share our experience, how we've tried to do that, and how the communities are involved in the process. It is a PowerPoint, so please, thank you for listening. Sorry, I can't see the screen. It's okay? Yeah. So just to locate ourselves, although there was a small film on our work yesterday during the fashion show, and we are located in the northern state of Uttarakhand. Yes, thank you. And where I live is the northeast corner of that state, touching the border with Nepal and Tibet. And accessibility-wise, it's about 14 hours from Delhi. And we work in about 106 villages in 2 districts in the state. Sorry. So what I always feel grateful for is the ancestors who left these natural resources for us to enjoy, who were the keepers of tradition. And, you know, especially Himalayan people, we don't really look at the services provided by communities living in remote areas of Himalayas because they are preserving the natural resources. They inhabit remote areas for us to be able to have clean rivers down the line. And they are the ones who leave the legacy of forest, clean water, and fertile soils for the coming generation. So we are the ones who've enjoyed this privilege. What are we doing for the next generation? So I feel, in a way, this age group of 40 to 60 are also the culprits for this, and they are also the solution. Because in these last 20, 40 years, technology has taken over our lives. So the tactile connection with our daily life is not the same as it was when we were growing up. And that that disconnect is also the reason why we are in the mess we are in. Because yesterday we talked a lot about contextual culture, how our immediate environment informs and defines and develops what we do. And as we all are in this field, creativity is soul food. We all need to express in some way or the other. It's not for Instagram, you know, it is for ourselves. So that whole I that needed to be inwards and which becomes a given when you live in very remote rural areas, it's a daily life is like that. We forget that the outward eye and the inner eye both have to work every day. So somewhere I feel that we must remember that we are also keepers of tradition. In Meghalaya, there are these living bridges, living root bridges. They are thinking 2 generations ahead. How these bridges are built are ficus trees across the 2 banks of a river, and the aerial roots are intertwined across the 2 banks. And you know, people walking on the bridge, every time they see an aerial root, they sort of intertwine it as they're walking by. So it's something as small and as big like this. So we are the living bridges for the past and the future. But it has to bother us so much to take action on an everyday level. We keep talking a lot, you know, we all go to many meetings, conferences, but at the end of the day, it's about what is the action we have taken. Have we done anything? And if we don't do that, it's, you know, nothing is really going to change. Sorry, I'm just sharing my angst about this story, but that's how it is. Now, in the Himalayas, they are considered to be the abode of the gods. It's called Devbhumi. 33 crore deities. See the natural beauty. It is a place where the lifestyle is in congruence with nature. Very quiet, slow. You know, the sustainability, circularity, and local solutions that we are talking today, it was the norm for the past 20 generations in the village. First, we have disturbed it. Now we are coming back with sustainability as if it's a totally new idea generated by us college-educated people. I mean, really, this was common sense in daily life. How many of us actually do anything with our hands today? Yesterday we saw so many presentations. Every village person is either spinning or weaving or dyeing or farming. And tactile work is very good for neuron development in the brain. So if we stop doing work with the hands, our brain also becomes singular. There's no balance left, you know, of the left and right. What is it called? Whatever. But just the concentration of doing something very simple. It happens to be weaving, but it could be anything else. So over time, initially we started with income generation. I'm also interweaving a little bit of our story in it. We started with income generation because our work with solar energy, we understood that very poor families were not participating when we were installing solar lights. So we felt that to encourage very poor families to participate, increasing income becomes our responsibility too. So in 1996, we started working with families in one village who were traditional artisans to revive the art of spinning and weaving. It started with 20 families. But slowly, we also took some decisions that what dyes are we going to use? As soon as you talk of textile, you have to talk of the ecosystem around craft. Water, dyes, energy, all three. I went and saw the industry in Panipat and in Jaipur, the carpet industry. I saw the effluent that was being put in the bore wells, saw the workers who were working on carpets. You know, wool carpets were made, and the market was saying, overseas market, that we want the wool to look like silk. So the workers were working with caustic soda, with their bare hands in the carpet. I mean, I was just crying looking at it, that we are not even worried about the people. Just now somebody was cleaning the paint upstairs. He's working with the sandpaper. All this paint is going in his nose, but nobody's giving him a mask. So this section of people who are doing everyday jobs, nobody's bothered about them. Their lifespan is between 40 to 50. You know how much recycling happens of unorganized labor in all the cities. We need to look at it. It's not just our health, it's our health, you know, everybody involved in the cycle. So when we decided to use natural dyes for textiles because of their non-polluting and much less carbon footprint, for about 15 years we just used the dyes on textiles. And then we saw that natural dyes by themselves were a big market. So we brought that whole cycle back to the Himalayas. We started buying locally grown plants. There were about 6 or 7 plants that were just, they were not being used. As we started buying the raw material for dyes, people started planting trees. So afforestation, conservation, and the use of natural dyes, they all linked very beautifully. So as we went into creating a market for natural dyes, we needed to show application other than textile. Textile, of course. So we made art supplies, wood stains, now wall paints as well. So we went into applications, and in this whole context, we established Agni. It was registered in 99. We started working in 96. Technically, this is our 25th year, so very happy to share this moment with all of you. Thank you. And so our work encompasses being in service of the earth, everything we do. Avni means the earth in Sanskrit. So the cornerstones really have been how we create prosperity while taking the community with us and preserving the environment. Is it possible to set up a business or an enterprise or an activity like this? But really, there was a lot of respect for traditional knowledge. We built on that. Our whole work is focused on local, building capacity, resources. For this, I will just focus on the textile enterprise. Today, about 1,500 producers are engaged with us, farmers and artisans in 64 villages, just with the textile and natural dye enterprise. It is entirely owned by producers. It's their business. They manufacture and market. Avni provides only the soft support, and operationally, this business is self-sufficient for about 12 years. The structure is they employ 14 managers whose salaries go from the sales to manage their affairs. So the cooperative is hiring the resource to look after their affair, the managing part of it. And they pay the salaries for more than 14 years. It might be the only working cooperative in the Himalayas. This model, now we are setting up a resource center to enable other people to set up a similar model where everything is community owned. After all, it is their resource, their knowledge, their privilege. So Earthcraft has formally 510 members, and between 800 to 1,500 producers engage with us every year. Not all of them work every year. It's totally up to the artisan and farmer. Very driven by the community and their needs. So the enterprise has 3 impacts: social, economical, and environmental. Economically, we've generated, I think now it's about close to 6 crore cash income in the villages, which does not take into account the infrastructure we have built, the training that has happened, the afforestation. If we look at carbon credits, this figure could easily go to 12 crores in terms of what has been created as a resource in the ecosystem. 78% participants are women in this whole enterprise. We've created a very circular production system, which is low carbon footprint, fair trade, and non-toxic. As you see, cultivation to rainwater recycling, wastewater recycling. So we've created the solutions around energy, dyes, and water. We create electricity by burning the leaves of pine trees. Pine needles are a source of forest fires in all the regions, including places like Mexico and California, Australia, India, of course, all the Indian Himalayan states. So we gasify them to produce electricity. So our processes use clean energy at every stage. We generate 32 kilowatts from solar power, and we are self-sufficient in water and in electricity. We recycle 100% of the wastewater. I would like to show you how wastewater looks like. This is the wastewater collection pond. This water is used for irrigation on our campus. That is how we are able to grow vegetables and dyes. We have no water on the land where I live. We live on rainwater 10 months a year. We harvest about 800,000 liters of rainwater, and that is recycled and reclaimed 80% every day. This is a model which can be done anywhere. So we are totally there to handhold, to help any unit that is interested to set up a similar circular model. Now Now, connecting the fact of natural dyes to planet health, if you see really all our water bodies, right down to the oceans, all dyes and detergents are ending up there. Marine life is impacted by a usage in Uttarakhand or any other state. So we need to be very conscious about the choices we make. So one part is the pollution, the second part is health. If you Google these subjects, as in the last thing you see, 40% of globally used dyes contain known carcinogens. So it's like, spoiling health while we know we are spoiling it. I mean, it is our freedom, of course, but perhaps we could change. This is the effluent normally from a textile industry, both in India and China. On the left is a denim village in China that produces a lot of synthetic indigo, and that's the river or the water body where they are, I don't know, using on a daily basis. On the right is India. So again, connecting nature, forest, wasteland to color. So we've planted about close to 8,000 trees that yield dyes. And who benefits out of these? Very small marginalized farmers, because in the Himalayas, land holdings are very, very small. We don't talk in acres. We talk on 1/20th of an acre. And that also she's lucky if she has that 1/20th of an acre. And then what will happen? In Uttarakhand, there's no consolidation of land. So if I own 5 pieces of 1/20th of an acre, they will be spread in 2 kilometers. Whole day I'm spending from one plot to the other, just walking back and forth. So can you imagine how the pest control will happen? How are they going to grow anything? On top of that, we've got the out-migration. Some villages, out of 200 families, not even 10 are left behind in the village. Others are ghost villages. Every house has a lock. That's the level of out-migration that's happening from the mountains. And we feel there is no need to migrate. Look at what all is there. So again, training of the eye to see what we can do with it. Sorry, how much time do I have? Oh, sorry. I thought time was up. I have 5 minutes? Okay. Right. So, it's mostly marginalized women farmers who impact from this. And so Prerna Bora was the highest indigo cultivator in 2022. She earned 15,000 rupees from the small piece of land she owned in a season of 90 days with 5 to 7 days of work on her farm. Our indigo is entirely rain-fed. We don't irrigate it. There's no question of water usage. And with most villages, we are using it to reclaim wasteland. So almost 180 acres we have reclaimed just through indigo. No, sorry, not only with indigo, with plantation of other dye-yielding species in the forest as well. Now we are again, as somebody had explained yesterday, about the black history of indigo, both in Africa and India, and Gandhiji's protest of the exploitation of indigo farmers starting in West Champaran district. And the situation that was there at that time and what this story is, it's complete 180 degrees. We are looking at it as a story of regeneration and restoration, looking at it with creativity, ownership of the farmer. It's not ownership of anybody else. They do need help in marketing, but it is the cooperative that produces and markets. It's not individual ownership. So we grow 3 varieties of indigo because we are lucky to be in an area working from an altitude of 900 feet to about 8,000 feet. We can grow these different varieties. We might be the only organization doing that. We grow Japanese indigo and 2 varieties of Indian indigo. One is Indigofera tinctoria, the other is Strobilanthus cusia. We have a demo outside of Strobilanthus dyeing. Our dyer is here, so please, when you find time, please go. And the hand spinner is also outside for the demo. On the left is Indigofera tinctoria, on the right is Strobilanthus. And blue is a color of healing. Again, when we talk of natural dyes, all these 5 things we are addressing all at the same time. Pollution, livelihood, people, forest, and soil. and I think we all know this, it reduces, regenerates, and protects, which is what we need to do. Totally in context of soil and water, which is our biggest resource right now. Soil health is depleting so fast that even the food we are eating doesn't have the nutrients it should. And these local solutions add up to affect a global reality. Climate change is addressed directly by this. These are some of the acknowledgements of the work that we've done. In 22, we were the global finalist for the St. Andrews Award for Environment, especially for our work on natural dyes. And I was amazed that the jury was from across the world, and it was a subject they found totally new. And it was strange to see that because, I mean, they are very qualified people, but somehow it's not in the psyche, you know. Energy is in the psyche. You talk of technology, you talk of energy, everybody understands immediately. You talk of natural dyes, it's like a soft subject somewhere on the side, like a second grade whatever. But then you really have to explain how it connects, you know. The connection is not obvious to people. That's what I found, at least. We've received the UNESCO Seal of Excellence for 6 of our products. And we've been showcased at the Ethical Fashion Forum in London.